Let me tell you what a fantastic film this one was. I have no idea why it was not put into the fall season because trust me, there is some Oscar caliber stuff in here that would have gotten some award consideration. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a brand new movie review. Today I'm discussing The Way Back, which stars Ben Affleck and is directed by Gavin O'Connor. And back in high school, Ben Affleck's character Jack had everything going for him: a basketball scholarship. He could have punched his ticket to college or even the pros, but instead he chose to walk away from the game, forfeiting his future. Jack's glorious days are long gone, but as it turns out, not forgotten. Years later, he gets the chance to take back his life when he is asked to coach the struggling basketball team at his old high school. Jack reluctantly accepts, surprising no more than himself, and as the boys start to come together as a team and win, he may get his last shot at redemption. This is a movie that I've been very much looking forward to because of Gavin O'Connor. He's such a really underappreciated director in this game. When you look at The Accountant, which should have spun off a whole entire spy franchise, or when you look at Warrior, which should have been the best picture winner of that year, or at least should have been nominated, especially with all the performances on board in that film. And then you even look at Miracle, which is also another phenomenal film. Guy has totally gone under the radar when it comes to many of these different films, and really getting into this movie, I was looking forward to see what he could do with this familiar type looking story from the trailer, but I knew it was going to have some different capability to it. But then I saw that, well, this film doesn't have any Thursday night previews, the review embargo is just the day before. I got a little bit reluctant and I went, how's this going to turn out? Luckily enough, though, I still went to go see this. I heard a lot of good buzz actually when the reviews came out, and I'm here to say that this is a fantastic movie that you should definitely check out. First, if you're new here, though, and you guys love movie content, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button so you never miss out on content like this on a daily basis. Make sure as well to comment down below and let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Did you guys like this movie? Did you not? Are you excited for it? Let's discuss it down there. The easiest place to start with this movie is really to talk about Ben Affleck's performance. Obviously, this is very much he's channeling something that he's been going through. Obviously, we've heard that he's gone through his rehabilitation through his alcoholism, and this movie does have a character who is going through the same kind of thing. He's an alcoholic. He drinks a ton. And his way to redemption is really the journey for this. This is a movie definitely about a character study, more about Ben Affleck's character than it is about the game of basketball and this kind of coaching of wanting to get them to the championships and really have them recover. And really the parallels of seeing how the team starts growing to him as well are very much in line with Beauty. And I loved how they were really able to touch on that aspect of this story and really show the two parallels of their kind of arcs going throughout this whole entire story. That's something that I didn't expect much to see in here, but we got it. A really important thing with The Way Back is while some people might look at Ben Affleck's performance and be like, well, he's kind of just channeling something he's been going through, there's a lot more to it than just the alcoholism that he's going through in this film. And while I will go as far to say Ben Affleck, I've always loved Ben Affleck as a director, and I've loved him as an actor, especially since he came back from his little resurgence. I've loved what he's been doing in Hollywood lately, and for me, this is the perfect role for him to be taking. I want him to take more performances like this. He is so good in here. I'm ready to say that this is probably his best performance to date. And I'm also ready to say that this film, I hope the Academy voters look at this film, and I know they probably won't, but his performance is so strong in here that if the Oscars were tomorrow, he would be nominated. I know it's only March, but I've seen a lot of good performances from Sundance, but he deserved a nomination for how great he was in here. It really just all goes back to the parallels and the way that he's able to play off. And the story in here is kind of unconventional in the way that it tells you, because from the trailers, you would think this is a pretty familiar story. I know how this is going to turn out, and you can think that. And definitely in some cases, it does turn into those ways. But when it gets to the third act, it turns very unconventional and goes in a very unfamiliar way to one that I didn't know what the next step, how this film was going to end and where it was really going to kind of end up dropping off to. Kind of like the redemption themes in here with Ben Affleck's character, because when we're all going through something or we lose something and we turn to certain addictions to kind of get us to fill that void, this basketball team is kind of his way of filling the void. And I really appreciate how this film kind of had a message of saying just because you filled the void doesn't mean you're completely healed. And I think this is something that many of us do, is that we try to fill a empty void in ourselves, but really we are the only ones that can fill that void with certain elements and actually getting through these struggles. And I like how The Way Back was really able to capture that and go forward with it in a very, again, unconventional and unfamiliar way, when many other basketball kind of sport dramas like this would have had the basketball front and centered and the redemption story kind of behind it. But in a sense, this is actually a redemption story with the basketball kind of thing being to the side. sidelines. It's actually not a bad thing, especially the way that Gavin O'Connor is able to frame this movie as a director inside this film. It feels very passionate, it feels very personal, and everything kind of just comes together firing on all cylinders. But really, if I had a couple cons, I could really get into some of the kids on the basketball team. I think there was a little bit more depth that they could have gotten into in some of them. Yes, you get to know some of them here and there, but really just through a couple lines or a couple symbolic kind of things with the visuals. While there's one kid that they do really much pay attention to completely, I wish they would have kind of dived into a little bit of the characters a little bit more for us to kind of come to care about all of them. Maybe that would have added a little bit more to the runtime, but I think it actually would have elevated the story just a bit more. It does fly by like that, and I just wanted a little bit more when it came to this whole character's life and what we're kind of centering around. I can kind of also see why Gavin O'Connor didn't do that, because this very much is a character study on Ben Affleck's character Jack. But at the same time, I would have kind of much appreciated that. Before I give you guys my final thoughts on The Way Back, make sure to comment down below. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Are you guys excited for this one? Have you seen it already? Let's discuss it. Hit that like and subscribe. And if you guys are new here and you guys love movie content like this on a daily basis, head over to Sandwich on Films on how to see films early. And of course, just a big thank you to you and a big thank you to my Patreon supporters, because without you, I wouldn't be able to do this. Way Back is more than just a sports drama. It's a story about redemption. It shares the convictions and themes, but really it's best part about it is the honesty that Ben Affleck is able to portray through this character. And I think this is going to be a movie that touches other people who are going through these similar states. It's a movie that kind of dives into the themes of filling a void and how to fix that void. And the way that they really play out this story with Ben Affleck's character, of you kind of coming to care about him, but as the story progresses, you kind of really start to really understand him more and come to fall in love with this character and really root for him to get better. There's a lot of things this character doesn't let off at first, and as the story plays out in a very unconventional and unfamiliar way, it made me much appreciate how they were able to get to every single one of the layers and really make us come to care and understand about him more. There are subtle things that kind of hit you in the heart, and you're like, God. But really, the parallels with the team and Ben Affleck's character Jack are just phenomenal. Gavin O'Connor, again, once shows why he's one of the most underappreciated directors in Hollywood. It shocks me that this is coming out in March. Would have been a great November film. Really, probably would have gotten Ben Affleck some award love right in there. But sadly, I already know how it'll be considered when it comes later this year. So with all that said, I'm going to give The Way Back an A-. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are on this movie. Did you guys like it? Did you hate it? Let's discuss it down below, guys. Thank you guys again so much for watching this. And of course, until next time, stay classy.